Hatchlings, it's DragonFeather, and welcome back to day 18 of our 31 days of Samhain, and for today we are going to be discussing dark moon rituals. Now, for those of you who don't know, the dark moon is the phase of the moon right before the new moon. Some would even say that the dark moon is the new moon because it is when there is no moon in the sky and it's just complete darkness. And the reason why I consider this the dark moon is because it's literally dark, there's nothing there. And the new moon is the waxing crescent that's just barely begun. It's like a sliver of a moon, and that's kind of the difference here. So there are different properties and different correspondences for the dark moon and for the new moon, but for this video we're just going to focus on the top, like the correspondences of the dark moon and how you can perform your own dark moon ritual. Before we get into this any further, I just wanted to let you know that I have actually created a post on this in the Hatchling Clan that goes in depth on how you can run your own rituals with step-by-steps, things that you'll need, and common things that are used during a dark moon ritual. Now, it'll go more in depth on how you can perform your ritual if this is something that you're interested in, but for this video I'm just going to go over the basics and kind of debunk some myths as well as get you guys to think a little critically about dark moon rituals. So I have some questions for you guys to consider before starting this activity. Have you ever performed a dark moon ritual before? Does the energy from the dark moon make you uncomfortable? Why or why not? What do you hope to accomplish during this dark moon ritual? Now, these are things to consider before you do a dark moon ritual so you can set your intention and identify the reason why you're performing this ritual. If you're doing this to just connect with guardians or guides, it's a little bit differently than if you were, say, trying to cast a binding, banishing, or return to sender spell. This particular phase of the moon is going to be the best for casting negative forms or darker forms of magic just because of the phase of the moon with there not being any light from the moon in the sky. During the dark moon, these are some common activities that you can do to celebrate the dark moon. The dark moon is a common time for binding and banishing, for protection magic, cursing or hexing, return to sender spells, release rituals, shadow work, divination, journeying to the underworld, reflection, meditation, and communicating with guardians, guides, gods, goddesses, deities, spirits, whatever you work with. So those are just some common activities that you can do during this time, and personally I find that this particular phase of the moon is really good for casting protection spells. So if you are maybe in need of some protection magic, this would be a time to consider doing a protection spell. And I find the reason why it's so heavily intertwined with protection is because the color of protection is usually black, and when there's dark moon, when it's a dark moon, the moon is literally black, so that's why I feel like it's the best time to cast protection magic. So before we get into the ritual, I wanted to discuss some of the symbolism behind the dark moon. Now, I'm sure that everybody has their own correspondences and their own personal symbolism for the dark moon, but commonly the dark moon is considered protection. Like I said, it's really good for protection magic and is literally a dark moon in the sky that you can utilize the darkness of the moon to bind your protection spells and put into your protection spells to make even better. The dark moon also symbolizes completion. So the reason why this is because the new moon is considered the start of the lunar cycle. So once you have the new moon, you have the waxing crescent, and then the full moon, and then the waning moon, and then the waning crescent, and then finally the dark moon, which is the completion of the cycle. So any sort of completion magic that you want to, maybe if you were going to do like a 7-day candle, do it 7 days prior to the dark moon so it would be finished on the dark moon. I think that's a really good idea as well. Common to conclude certain things, so like if you were trying to get rid of a relationship, maybe you're not in a healthy one, or if you were going to leave your job, or if you were going to break off a friendship or anything like that, this would be the time to do so, which is also a reason why return to sender spells work really well for the dark moon, because when you're taking all of their negative energy and sending it back to them, you're basically like putting a conclusion to what happened between you and said person or whoever the case may be tied to. The dark moon is also good for cleansing. Now, when we have like a completion of cycles, or even before we start anew, we like to cleanse our space, we like to prep it for the new cycle to come. And I find that during the dark moon is a great time to do that. It's a great time to cleanse out the space, and just the energies of the dark moon, in my opinion, are very cleansing. They may not be that way for you, but just for me personally, I definitely resonate with that. So now I'm gonna go over into a little bit of a walkthrough for a dark moon ritual, and if you want to have like a real dark moon ritual with more step-by-step instructions, then don't forget to check out the post I made in the Hatchling Clan, as this post will go more in depth on what I'm about to share with you guys. Kind of step-by-step to have your own dark moon ritual. Before you have your ritual, you're going to want to cleanse or have a ritual bath. You're going to want to make sure your body is clean and ready to raise magical energy. And when we have like maybe dirty hair, or we haven't showered in a while, or maybe we just don't smell the best, you know what I mean? Like if we haven't taken care of ourselves, then all that smelly, dirty, grimy grossness that is on our bodies is going to affect our vibrational energy. And so it'll just make you feel a little bit lower vibrationally and a little bit, you know, uncomfortable. So that's why before you do these rituals, you're going to want to clean yourself, you're going to want to cleanse yourself, and make sure that you are in the right state of mind to enter a magical atmosphere and to raise magical energy. Next, you're going to go ahead and clear your space. Now, wherever you're going to do your ritual, you can use an altar, like you can set one up like I have behind me, or you can go ahead and do it outside, or you can do it in a place that you have that you won't be disturbed, that works best for your ritual needs. So go ahead and clean this space, if that means vacuuming, if that means mopping, if that means making the bed and picking up clothes, if that means clearing off the table and wiping things down. Do whatever you need to do to prep your ritual space to be as clean and as energetically cleansed as possible. Next step is you're going to ground. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean you're going to sit on the ground like applesauce, crisscross legs, or however you are most comfortable, and visualize yourself giving all the negative energy and just all the energy that you've picked up throughout the day, throughout the week, the month, whatever, and give it back to the earth so it can be neutralized. And once you give all of that negative energy back to the earth, then you're going to take up energy from the earth and use that as positive energy to cleanse yourself as you have gotten rid of all that no longer serves you. And this is really important because when you don't ground, sometimes your energy is a little bit all over the place, but when you do ground, it's an act that you can take to really, you know, not necessarily reset yourself, but just to cleanse yourself of what energy isn't relevant and what energy may hold you back or throw you astray during your magical working, and just focus your intention more than anything else. Alright, so after you have grounded, go ahead and cast your circle. Now you can cast your circle however you like. I prefer to use a wand on the dark moon, and I hold the wand above me and visualize a dark moon around me for protection. I do this for the full moon as well, except I envision a full moon around me for healing or whatever I'm doing. But for the dark moon in particular, I recommend casting a protective circle with the intention of protection, because since it is a darker phase of the moon, sometimes this can attract darker energies, spirits, things that you don't want, so just make sure that you have a protective circle casted for this exercise. After you have casted your circle, go ahead and call upon your guardians, guides, gods, goddesses, spirits, spirit guides, animals, ancestors, all of these things, whatever you work with, whoever you work with, go ahead and call them into your space and invite whoever you wish to partake in this ritual with you. After you have called upon all of these beings, go ahead and meditate to refocus on your intention and to focus on your intention with whoever is in your circle with you as well. And this will help set the stage for your magical working, as well as focus your intention in your mind's eye so you can visualize what the end goal is here, and so you can take help and aid from whoever is within your circle with you whom you have invited. Next, perform your magical rites. So this can be whatever you want, from like a return to sender spell, this can be shadow work, this can be, you know, a binding or banishing spell, this could be a cursing or hexing. So whatever works best for you is what you would do now, or whatever you feel most called to do for this dark moon ritual, go ahead and perform this rite now. So after your magical rites, go ahead and have a cakes and ale ceremony. Now this is totally optional and something that I personally do in my rituals. I kind of feel like it's more Wiccan in nature than anything else. I could be wrong, but I definitely feel like it's something that not many people do. I like to have a cakes and ale ceremony because it allows me to commune with my guardians, guides, whoever I invited in my circle, as well as just kind of have some genuine chit chat and conversation. So after you've had your cakes and ale and kind of had a little break from the magical works that you have done, then go ahead and take this time to do some divination. The dark moon, in my opinion, is one of the best times to do divination because the dark moon really allows us to go into the darkness and really allows us to go within to receive messages from the divine. And this has been true in my personal practice, and maybe not yours, who knows, but if you've never done divination during the dark moon, I definitely recommend doing so. And during the dark moon, I seem to be more receptive to my draconic energy. Like, I don't know what it is, I just feel more receptive to draconic energy during the dark moon and more receptive to fairy energy during the full moon. But that's just me personally, and I'm not gonna like go into that any more than that. After you've done your divination, you can take this time to do some crafting as well, maybe work in your Book of Shadows, or you can make a besom, you can craft a bottle or a jar, literally whatever you want to do, like any sort of crafting that you want to do. Go ahead and take the time to do this now and do it in the presence of your guardians and guides and have them help you infuse whatever you're crafting on with their magic as well. So after all of this has been done and completed, go ahead and dismiss your guardians and guides. Thank them for being there with you and for aiding you in your magical work or whatever it was that you did during your rite, and just express gratitude for them being there. And as you dismiss them, go ahead and snuff out the candles that you use to call upon them, if that's something that you do. If not, then just dismiss them and visualize them leaving their space, going back to whatever they wish to do. After dismissing your guardians, go ahead and close your circle. This can be done in any way that you see fit. I personally like to hold my wand up straight above me and visualize the circle going all the way back into my wand, through my body, and ground it out into the earth. That's me personally, and I do like the opposite for casting circles, so I draw the energy from the earth through my body, out the top of my wand, and around me in a circle like the dark moon. That's just me personally, but whatever way you feel best dismissing your circle, go ahead and do so. And after that, go ahead and ground out any extra energy that you may have had, any excess, any sort of super excited vibrations that are gonna either 1, keep you up, 2, make you feel a little out of it, or just ground out the extra energy so you don't feel like your energy centers get too overactive, because this is an issue, and this has happened to me too, where after I perform a ritual, I'm just like bouncing off the walls like I just drank a cup of coffee. But you want to ground it out, that's the point here. So that's pretty much all, like, the basics for walking through a ritual for the dark moon. And after you do this, I have some questions for you to answer as well. So how do you feel after performing your dark moon ritual? What dark moon activities did you partake in? Is celebrating the dark moon something that you will do more often? Why or why not? After you have answered these questions and performed the ritual, feel free to either write this down for your Book of Shadows for later reference, or go ahead and share it with us in a post in the Hatchling Clan. And remember, if you do want to do something like this for the dark moon, as tonight is the dark moon, perhaps maybe not this dark moon, but any dark moon in the future, go ahead and click the link below to a post that I made in the Hatchling Clan that'll go more in depth with more detail on how to actually perform these rituals and rites for the dark moon and in celebration of the darkness and the darker times of the moon. You like my spirit fingers? I like my spirit fingers. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Sending you guys endless love and positive vibes always. I'm so grateful that you chose to click on my video and spend your day here with me today, as it means a lot to me and I enjoy making these videos for you. So with that being said, until next time, stay geeky, cheeky, and freaky!
You got to stay freaky. You promise me? You gotta do it, okay? You gotta do it.
But until next time, blessed be and bye.
And it's funny that you think that I'm different when we're both made of water. It's funny that you think that I'm different when we're both made